Hey there, Drawyah here, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. As you can see, it's another premiere, which means once again we are flying in the real world, and today flying back home, starting off in Barra, with our stop over in Glasgow. So, today flying in the Britten-Norman Islander. In reality, in real world I'm flying a Twin Otter, but since I don't have a Twin Otter yet in Microsoft Flight Sim, since the Airsoft version hasn't released yet, and again, not many people enjoyed the FSX video, so I can't use aircraft on that. Fly the next closest thing, which of course is going to be the Blackbox Simulations Islander. So it's an aircraft that I've flown a couple of times in sim. I do really enjoy it, so it will be a good flight regardless. And yeah, it should be a fun little flight departing from the beach airport today back to Glasgow, so back to Scotland's second city. About an hour and 10-ish minute flight time today, an hour 25 is the schedule, so you'd be using that. Otherwise, jump in the cockpit, set aircraft up, and prepare ourselves for our flights back to London today. So, we will start off with the whole passenger loading process, so I can get that timing alright correctly. Put everything through the sim brief, that's fine. Put in 1 hour and 25 on the clock. A departure, so we're departing in about 10 minutes or so, because then you're a short turnover here in Barra, so put 9 o'clock now. Flying in an Islander, so selects the correct aircraft, should be that one, and the return leg has 5 people on board, so not a very full aircraft indeed. Nothing special, got the Loganair, safety briefing, we'll use that. No snacks, no drinks. Start the boarding process, and let's start up our aircraft. So first things first, we'll use the battery, we'll activate the generators as well, and sets the nav lights to on. Jumps around seats, activates the avionics master, sets everything up as required. Wow, passenger board already? Yeah, it's very quick. Right, so let's plan our route, shall we? Flight plan starting off with our departure airport of Echo Golf, Echo Golf, Papa, Romeo.
Once all your items are put away, please clear the aisle and sit down in your seat to allow other passengers to find their seats as well. If you are seated in an emergency exit row, please read the exit.
There you go, Barra, so enter that. As an airport, next waypoints. So, flying virtually the return leg to what we did before, our first waypoint is going to be Tiri. So, Tango, India, Romeo. Sorry, got that a bit wrong there. There we go. Come on, T. There we go. TIR. Make sure I'm getting the right hit points in set crafts. PQR. Enter that. It's going to be the one in Great Britain. There we go. From Tiri, we then fly to Bruce.
Fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in a full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew secure doors for departure.
BRUCE. There we go. Enter that. Going to be the Great Britain points. From Bruce, we then fly to... well, that's it really. Destination of Glasgow, Echo Golf, Papa, Foxtrot. So only 4 waypoints, well, 2 waypoints today, with 2 airports. Echo Golf, Papa, Foxtrot. Cool, enter that. As an airport, we are good to go. Back to the flight plan. You'll see that magenta line's been added, and that's our plan looking good. That's fine with me. We are flying on IVAO today, so make sure that we're on Unicom 122.8. There we go. That's all fine. Cruising altitude of... did I set cruising altitude on PACX? I'm sure I did. But yeah, cruising altitude is about 9,000 feet, so it's flying ever so slightly higher than our inbound leg the other day. We will switch you over to altitude, that's fine. As far as I'm concerned now, we are just about ready for engine start. So close all the exits. We will make sure that our beacon lights are active, so that ground credit ready for engine starts. Make sure everything has been maxed out, it's looking good, about 10% throttle in. And let's start now with the start process for engine number 2. So, fuel valves, need to be up, so fuel valve on, fuel pumps on, set number 2 magneto. Just a quick check, make sure everything is all clear on the engine, which it is. Open the starter guard and start the engine number 2. Make sure it's all looking good, so oil temperature will warm up, pressure in the green and fuel pressure in the green, looking good. We'll also increase the throttle slightly as well, just to help speed up the engine, the oil temperature warm up process. There we go, that's warming up. Right, let's do the same for engine number 1 now, so we'll kill the fuel pump and activate number 2 magneto. Engine 1 fuel valve and fuel pump, start number 2 magneto. Starts the port engine. Check once again temperatures. So fuel pressure, oil pressure in the green, oil temperature just warming up. Just going to put a little bit of throttle in there. Oil temperature also warming up. It's fine. Yeah, that'll do us. By the time on the runway, we should be good to go. Let's activate the taxi lights. We'll also start our strobes as well, pulsating lights while we're on the ground. Well, we'll stay on the ground again, we're virtually on the runway anyway, so there's nothing really for us to do in that regard. We're departing essentially the, well, let's have a look at the ground setup for here in Barra once again. We could give ourselves a nice easy departure on the 1.5 side. At the moment winds are slightly calmer than they were when we flew inbound, so we'll do that. We'll fly down the runway 23 side. So make sure that all my documentation is ready to go. Sorry, runway 15 side, not 23, runway 15 side. Essentially in that kind of direction there. Flaps down into takeoff position. And let us, well, we'll go straight to landing lights then, because there's no need for taxi lights. We'll then have this position and get ourselves ready to go. All looks good, all looks good. Right, parking brake released. Let's taxi into position. Remember that we are on a sand ground at the moment, so we need to put a little bit more throttle in just to get the aircraft rolling. There we go. Right, so runway 15 is about here-ish. And so, if we've got takeoff clearance, what we can now do is hold the brake, increase throttle, make sure the engines are both running smooth and stable. RPM both engines green. Right, set go the brakes, let's get going. Happy with the aircraft as it is. So speed green. Rotate. Yeah, tad crosswind there, but we're airborne. Looking good. The island does have a bus service, so I certainly would have made use of that. And we're also getting from the airports to the main town of Castaway. Raise the flaps now. But apart from that, most of what we're going to do on this island is walking and trekking, really. It really is a beautiful set of islands here. So just the heading, get ourselves onto a line course. There we go. Let's continue our climb out, shall we? So we need to make our way towards the Drawyah point, so we'll set heading through 140. Yeah, we'll get us to a higher altitude, and we'll access the autopilot to get us up to 9,000, 140. In fact, probably get to that now. Autopilot on.
Autopilot
Set
on.
altitude 9,000.
9,000 feet.
Set heading 140.
Setting heading 140.
Right, so, aircraft control. Once again, the heading indicator just seems a bit off sync. It's not going to cause any major problems for me, but it's one of the things that you do need to be you need to keep a very close eye on it just before it causes any problems for you. But like I say, the visibility virtually as clear as it is. Just because I'm now still climbing. Yeah, about 500 feet, that's fine. It's just one of the things that you've got to be extra careful with just in case potentially there's an issue that comes up. But for the most part, we should be alright in regards to the flight heading out. It's 500 feet per minute as well, nice and steady climb, so I'm not going to put too much stress onto the aircraft either. I'm just setting up my maps and everything to make sure everything is looking good for this trip. I'm hoping to get time to be able to do the 2 Glasgow legs as well. I mean, they're going to be in the A320. I have to double check which A320 to be specific. Could be 20, could be 21. So I'm trying to get the toeless aircraft going, but well, you certainly would know by now because you'd seen the start of premieres and all that. But at least for me right now in this position, it's just a case to make sure that everything is essentially in the right place for the upcoming videos. Once we get to the cruising altitude, once we get towards the Drawyah point, make left-hand turn towards Glasgow. That's probably what I'll end up doing, just checking the aircraft types scheduled for tomorrow's flights, and then start recording those afterwards. Because like I say, this like, well, doing the live things of these flights was a guarantee. I've not yet done Barra flights. I've done a couple of Glasgow flights for premieres and all that, so you guys have seen it already. But certainly not these legs. These ones are the special ones, so I definitely have to do these ones in terms of the flight follow along. But the other one definitely, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I'll check how the timing goes. I may get one leg in. I might not. Well, I should get one leg in for sure. But we'll see how it goes. Imagine doing rather well at the moment. Nothing too much going on. Just confirm I have activated the anti-air. I've activated 3 of them. Activate that one as well. Could do cab lights if we need to, not particularly. The aircraft has got a rather nice backlighting as well for the cockpit controls. Those are down here, instrument lights. Can't really see too much right now. It's bright and day outside, but I don't know, they're quite nice instrument lights. You got your back panels. See, especially the yellow bar over there. See how that glows. You got your backlighting, and you've got your kind of cockpit lights as well. It's a sweet little aircraft. If you guys don't have the Islander, I do recommend it. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's certainly not everyone's kind of aircraft, but for me, I think it's adorable. It's a fun little aircraft. Systems-wise, it's fantastic. Definitely one of the better kind of. What cars would you say this is? It's not general aviation. It's definitely commercial aircraft. It's not really a turboprop. It's just a twin prop. It's a twin prop. It's certainly one of the better twin props on flights at the moment. And Blackbox as well. They're not the best developer in the world. They're not like your PNDG and all that. But I must say, their aircraft for years have always been they've always proved sturdy. I mean, I've used a lot of their aircraft, a lot of people use a lot of their aircraft. They are a top developer, Blackbox. They're not the most public either. They're not really like a front-facing, social media mad kind of giants. They produce aircraft, they release it, people buy it, people enjoy them. That's kind of what they are. They're your quiet big brother who drop you a few small loads every so often. Cloud cover as well. Very good. Once again, we've avoided most of the worst of it. Have gaps in the clouds behind us we can just fly through. But, yeah, as long as the storms... The main storms from the other day have cleared up. You can see it on the left-hand side as well. When we flew to Glasgow 2 days ago, there's a big wall of scary cloud on the left-hand side. On this occasion, that's all long gone. Nowhere to be seen. Let's have a look also the meter at Glasgow. Looking at 14 degrees centigrade, QNH1001. Winds are facing 240 19 knots, so a bit gusty over there. Rain also reported, so not perfect. Could definitely be worse. It could definitely be worse. Alright, let's carry on with our flight, shall we? We're a tad bit away from the flight plan, but for the most part, it means we're going to cut a few seconds off our trip. Once we get that Terry point, we're flying towards... actually flying pretty much towards Bruce at the moment. We'll see how it goes. If we need to make a few adjustments, we can make a few adjustments, but 240 seems to be the... sorry, 140 seems to be just fine at the moment. Very short as well. Going to be flying back over the airspace we flew towards Isla and Collinsy. So we're going to see Terry to our right hand side potentially. It's kind of where that bit of cloud sticks up. We've got Terry to our right hand side somewhere. Left hand side, not really much going on out there. It's just going to be water as far as Portree. Based on the weather forecast, last few days haven't been too bad. Of course, some rain, some clouds, some wind, but yeah, like I say, I'm sure the trip was a good trip. Once again, I'm talking in a position where I've not actually gone yet, so this is me talking past tense for future tense. But I like my travels. I like going on islands and just getting away from crowds and everything. So a trip like this is pretty much just. It's what I enjoy. It's what I enjoy. I live in London. I work in London. A big part of my role is customer service. So I'm talking to people all the time. Of course, I enjoy streaming as well, so I'm talking to you all the time as well. And here I am. My ideal holiday is as far away from everyone as I possibly can get. I wouldn't have it any other way. Go through the system again, so oil temperature, sorry, what is that? Charlie Yankee, CYL, I'm not quite sure what that actually means, but that's not great. It's not in the reds, it's not too far gone, but that could be warmer. Oil temperature, of course, is perfect. Oil pressure's alright. fuel pressure, good. There's a fuel on board. We should have just over half tank left. That's looking good. Yeah, this is so far so good. And yeah, once again, the island, in reality, it usually hops around the Orkney Islands. But because I don't have a Twin Otter yet, I don't know when the Aerosol Twin Otter is actually set for release. It'd be really funny if it was kind of like the morning I'm flying out to Scotland. That would be really awkward. But yeah, I know Aerosoft are doing a Twin Otter. But it's just a case of now waiting to see it release. There's been a couple of video previews of it. There's the Twin Otter Extended for FSX and P3D. I don't own that. But I don't know, it's also nice for me to get the Islander out as well. I mean, it's an aircraft that I've got in the hangar. I do fly it a lot on my own, but I don't tend to stream it too much. But it's nice to kind of get it out of the hangar, just fly it around a bit in the sim, and just actually check it to more of what it has to offer. Because like I say, the Blackbox aircrafts, the work they've put so far has been fantastic. So, yeah, take nothing away from them. They have updated it since the first video, and yeah, something for us to show and enjoy. That down below, that I believe is going to be Cole, Long and Terranius. Yeah, I've also got that. See that's correct. That's showing about a 140 heading. I'm not sure where this one is. Why it's so far off 060? Yeah, that's horribly wrong. Altitude-wise, we're passing through 7,000. We're about 7,500 now, so we'll also soon be at cruising. Also, ETA showing about 12:27 Zulu time. It's about 13. Really? Because the in-sim time should be set to actual kind of departure time of the actual flight, which was 13:40. Sorry, that was a couple minutes off. That makes more sense. 13:30. My apologies. So yeah, landing about 2:30 local time. Yeah, apologies for that screen being really so big, as all we have to do, get it as accurate as possible. The original time and date settings and all that had little arrows you could click on to set it minute by minute. They got rid of that. I don't know why they got rid of that, but I really liked the odd method. How can people look at the sim and think it looks horrible? Look at it. Every rock, every hill, every little track road as well. Windmills, painstakingly recreated. This platform is fantastic. It looks so good. It feels better than it was on release as well. Aircraft dynamics are a lot better, a lot stronger. Honestly, how can people say this is bad? It's really not. Give the GPS a bit of a knocking, so we're heading towards that Bruce point. We might as well just stick it up for Bruce then, so get that all typed in. Enter that, activates. So essentially flying towards Bruce now, and from Bruce we'll find the correct heading. With so much skipping that teary waypoint, it might as well just do it basically. Which, to be fair, even in real life, it probably will kind of add up, because when we fly the when we fly the Twin Otter being a turboprop, it has a slightly higher cruising speed when compared to this, and therefore we do save a fair bit of time. Twin Otter, it's not really meant to be kind of long distance flying. It's designed for short flights, island hopping capacity. I mean, the Islander, of course, was, well, excellent now. It was a much faster aircraft with a higher takeoff weight, high capacity, and also could take off on shorter runways. The Islander, still faithful to that, but with a slightly smaller capacity. And actually, if you go back to the history of the aircraft, it's a lot of it is all around Arini and how they operate. I mean, originally they had a couple of Islanders in their fleet, Arini. They connected, of course, Guernsey, Alderney, Jersey and Southampton, as well as originally London Heathrow and a couple of other. They had a couple of old links as well. I mean, it starts off with BEA, British European Aviation. That changed hands. So originally, eventually, really became the main kind of island carrier to connect the Channel Islands. And so they had a couple of islanders just like this that connects all the islands together. Eventually they looking for bigger aircrafts, and so they went to Britten-Norman and say, hey, we want a bigger aircraft, can you do it for us? And that's where the Trident became well, an option. So they extended the fuselage, and knowing that the propellers wouldn't have enough kind of power to get the aircraft going, they stuck a third propeller on the tail. So it's trijet rather than tri-prop even, rather than a biprop. And yeah, it operated with a, let's say, higher top speed, higher takeoff weight, and with 3 propellers to take off shorter runways. And of course the famous Golf Joey, part of the Joey Club, one of the Tridents they used to have until 2012, I think they retired them. So that's the aircraft with a bit of history, and how they have found themselves worldwide. Britten-Norman still develop these, still an active aircraft they can go to Britten-Norman and buy this year if you wanted to. There's still a few Tridents. The Trident itself is long out of production, but there are still a few, I believe, out in the Caribbean. Let's have a quick look. Trilander operators. So there's one in Anguilla Air Services, Guyana have Roraima Airways, and then Puerto Rico have Air Flamenco and Viquez Airlink. So actually there's 4 operators still that fly them. If I ever find myself in the area, then absolutely I'll try and get myself a trip on one. They use quite a few operators in the UK. Loganair to operate them, of course. Jersey, Blue Irons used to operate them. Guernsey have Arini, of course. And actually there's a Trilander on display at the Imperial Museum in Duxford. Next time I go, I'm going to have to try and keep an eye out for that one. I've been to Duxford, actually flew to Duxford. It was my first kind of GA flights that I took some control of. I must admit, I did miss that one. I did quite like the, because I always like my BAC 111s. I know that they have got a 111 as well in their displays outside. And this camera's really weirdly off center. I think this is just because of the size of the aircraft, because the camera is in the middle of the aircraft, but that incorporates the height of the tail at the same time, so as a result it appears just really low on the screen. If I zoom out, it's not so bad, but then you zoomed out at the same time. The worst camera, I'm afraid, has to be that of Dovetail Games Flight Sim World. Their external camera, it's really odd. It just, well, it's shaking around all the time, which is not particularly great, I must admit. Yeah, that was That was an odd one. Yeah, the Bruce point in a couple of minutes. In terms of the flight expected arrival, well, actually, you've got 26 minutes time remaining on the actual aircraft itself, so it must be a slightly quicker leg this out of two. In terms of scheduled duration, the flights from Glasgow to Barra, so the outbound flight's 125. The return leg, sorry, the out leg's 115. The return's 120. So actually, this tends to be the slightly longer leg of the two. I'd imagine that's taking into account the fact that you start off on the grass. Sorry, not on the grass, on the sand even. But no, of course, back in Glasgow, it's a proper tarmac runway, so it'll be a nice and simple touchdown. It might happen as well. Of course, we're not taking the seatbelt sign off in time. See, actually, it takes us to cruise. We did set at 9,000 to cruise, which is good. Yeah, so we did. We are in a bit of turbulence. Seatbelt sign stays on. Passengers aren't going to move around the cabin at all during this trip. And then, I'll say, in the next couple of the next half hour or so, we'll start about our approach and landing. Also going to have a look at the IVAO website just to see what it's like for traffic inbounds. As it stands, there is an aircraft scheduled to land about 10 minutes after me, so I'm landing 10 for an Air France A320neo, so we'll keep an eye out for that one potentially on the approach. Because it's runway 23 in use, is it? Yeah, runway 23 in use, so we can have a slightly extended approach into the runway itself. And then once I get back to Glasgow, the plan is to... Well, I've got a couple of hours, depending on what time you arrive. I'm not going to check into my return leg to Heathrow yet, because potentially if we land early enough, I could try and get myself onto an earlier flight. So there's a flight that leaves... there's two British Airways flights. There's one that leaves about half an hour after this one lands on the scheduled arrival time. But, as you know, a lot of flights arrive early, so if I can get myself maybe an hour to spare at Glasgow for the earlier flight, I'll rebook at no extra cost for the earlier flight, and then find myself going from there. So yeah, the benefit of having no fees on rebookings as per COVID, yeah, don't get me wrong, there are some very slim bright sides I've noted in the last year and a half, where I've done a lot more travelling in the UK that I've never really done or thought of before. I mean, if we could travel internationally with ease, I'd be doing it a lot more frequently. That's for certain. I'd never have gone to the Channel Islands. I'd never have gone to well, I've gone to Belfast. I'd never have gone to Oban, done the Islander flights and all that. There's a lot of domestic trips I'd have never made if we could instead fly to Munich for a £5 return, fly to Berlin £15 return. I mean, fair enough. In terms of cancelled trips, New York I've had to cancel. So yeah, New York I've cancelled. Mallorca I've cancelled, Malaga I've cancelled, Dusseldorf I've cancelled, Dublin cancelled. There's been a lot of cancelled trips. I've been very fortunate. I've not personally known anybody killed by the virus at this time, so I've been very fortunate in that regards. I mean, yeah, it's been a horrible year for a lot of people, but at least in the last, if I go by Canada now, since June, I've been travelling a bit more around the UK, and I've seen more of the country than I have ever. Like I say, so COVID lockdowns in the UK started in March of 2020. I then did no travelling until October, where I did a trip to Berlin for a day trip to Berlin, because at that point the lockdowns had just started relaxing, and Germany at that point had cleared borders with the UK, so I could easily pop over there and come back without too many problems. And also, actually, it was kind of a mix where if you came, it depends where in the UK you'd come from. I know that Wales, if you're Welsh going to Germany, you can do it because that was part of their kind of red zone. London was part of their amber. It was like if you went to certain parts of London, then you'd be in the red. Certain parts are in green. So unfortunately, I've only been in the green parts, not any of the reds or the amber. It depends where you'd been. You kind of determines what your entry to Germany was like. So I did that for a day trip. That was pretty good. Cause for Berlin, I've always wanted to go to Berlin on my own kind of terms. I've been to Berlin with a school trip, of course, when I went to Berlin a couple of years ago. But finally be able to do it on my own regards, that was a good old trip. Then that was it. I didn't do any more travel because, of course, the next lockdowns all started and things changed around again. And I then made my way over to, where did I go? It's back in June. Was my first trip away. That one, I'm sure that was it Belfast? No, it wasn't. Belfast was second. Glasgow, that's it. I went to Glasgow, so I did. So actually, I'm looking at Kayak now. It's a different app. So I was looking at AppInTheAir for flights. So I went to Inverness and surrounding areas. So Cairngorms, 14-16 March 2020. Day trip to Berlin was 10th of October 2020. Then on the 30th of March, I did a day trip after work to Folkestone. So I took a southeastern train down to Folkestone and back. Because again, working the railways, you can get discounts on high-speed train travel, so of course I use that. Then I did a day trip to Margate with my mother, because we wanted to go out to the beach, so that's... Then I went to Glasgow on the 21st, 22nd June, so I did a two-day trip to Glasgow. On the 1st of July, I did a trip up to Darlington and then went to the York National Rail Museum. 12th of July, I went to Belfast. The 21st to 23rd of July, I went up to Oban. Then 17th, 19th September, then I took a small break. So August, I didn't travel anywhere, just to kind of rest a bit. Save money in the bank account, of course. Then I went to Alderney on the 17th, 19th September. Then I've done a day trip to Bath, so 21st September, I went to Bath with mother. Now I'm on a trip to Barra, I was coming back from Barra, so 28th to the 30th September. Next week I'm off to the Isle of Scilly, so I'm going to Penzance by train, spend a day in Penzance and spend a day in Scilly. I'll talk more about that during the actual kind of Scilly video, or the premiere for the flight that I'm doing, because there's one flight I'm doing and I'm taking a boat back, but I'll be flying from Land's End to Isle of Scilly with the Isles of Scilly Skybus. That's a bit of a mouthful, that. Isles of Scilly Skybus. I said that fast 5 times. Isles of Scilly Skybus, Isles of Scilly Skybus, Isles of Scilly... Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so that I'm doing as well. Then a couple of days after that, I'm off to Inverness again. And then in October, late October or mid-October, I've also got a day trip up to Edinburgh planned as well. So I've got a couple of plans, a couple of trips coming up ahead. More of that I'll talk about in the, well, not too long now. must say, I wonder why the outbound leg took so much longer than the inbound, because we're only about 15 minutes away from Glasgow now. Was that extended bit of flight plan via Thierry that much longer? Surely not, really. I don't know. This is just a much quicker leg, I'm guessing. Bruce, Thierry into Barra. Maybe the winds are just a bit on our side. Oh, yeah, winds are just like better as well. We'll see. We'll see how it compares to real life as well. There's a bit of a smoke thing coming behind there. Fire or something. Fire. Think about our approach and descent shortly. We'll quickly set a direct 2 points following Bruce to, well, the airport. So let's talk an approach quickly. Go to procedures. Going to select our approach. Runway 23 selected. Do it on the VOR because I'm not going to get close to this on the ILS for sure in this aeroplane. And transition point is going to be... Has to go, has it? Okay, so I'll load that. And the arrival, that will be the Bruce 1 Golf. We need the Bruce 1 Golf. Left runway 23. Okay, that works better for us, so we'll do that. Get into that and loads. Check the flight plan. Yeah, that's good to me. We're going to have to fly south of the airport, so we'll check out heading now quickly. It's going to be a course of 147. Set heading 147.
Affirmative.
Are you sure? There's someone doing that wrong. Seven. That or just 149. Sets heading 149.
I'm on it.
But we should be turning left rather than right. So okay, we'll skip that then. We'll forget that. We'll just base it on GPS then. Very odd. I'm sure that's. Was it 297 we're doing? Hang on. Okay, so 297 minus 180. So I'm doing, of course, sets heading 117.
No problem.
Right, that's more like it. That's more like it. Okay, so 117 heading. And then following GPS to get ourselves around the airport and into the runway. That's where we're going to see the time kind of extended a bit for the approach. Hopefully not by too much. We can always cut a few corners if well. We won't cut any corners, but we'll definitely kind of we'll make it easier for ourselves. I'm trying to say. We'll make sure that our Unicom is established us up for the approach as well. So runway 23 for landing. Approaching on the VOR from runway 23. Inbound from the east, from the west, sorry. And a Bruce 1 Golf arrival. Bumpy here, I must say. Weather-wise, Glasgow isn't looking too bad. Definitely need to keep a bit sturdy for this lap bit. The flight's not too far now from Glasgow as well, so it's not looking so good on my end. In fact, that's the left-hand turn I need to make. Passenger satisfaction is at 94%, so passengers themselves are alright. If you have a look at the external, you can kind of see just how much effects the wind's having on the aeroplane right now. Altitude bobbing around fairly heavy-ish. It's not terrible, but definitely some effects coming on the aeroplane there. You definitely feel it, that's for sure. You definitely feel this. But as soon as we're on flatter ground, so once we get around to Glasgow, make the approach in via the north, we should, for the most part, see things smoothing out to our benefits. Just see kind of how the cloud cover works for the Glasgow as well. Oh, it's not too bad actually. You can just about see down below. So what's the cloud seeding than that? Let's have a quick browse of the Echo Foxtrot meter. Right, Pembury Sands. Sorry, that's not it. It's not Pembury Sands, it's Glasgow International, there we go. Glasgow Airport even. Glasgow Airport, Scotland. So, right now we are looking at 250 80 knot winds, hence runway 23 approach. Plus the visibility of clouds cover to 037, so 3,700 feet per minute cloud top, cloud roof, cloud ceiling even. Status clouds at 4,600. No more rain detected. Cloud breaks noted. 13 degrees centigrade, 2.07, QNH 1001. So, we're doing alright actually in regards to the weather at the moment. Genuinely could be a lot worse. Alright, we're going to make a left hand turn now. Set heading 070.
Setting heading 070.
That user point's meant to be more kind of, a bit more flush with, yeah, rather than that, it should be more kind of like that. It's not terrible. We can work around it, like most things. Right, it's going to fly alongside the runway heading for a bit, and potentially we need to start thinking about descent as well, actually. Down to about 2,000 feet. There's no traffic around us just yet, but I'm worried that the A320 that's coming in from France is only about 20 minutes away now from the airports. And their speed is a lot higher than what we're doing right now. Their speed is about what... Our speed right now is about their minimum approach speed. So we'll be approaching even slower than what they're even coming out at. Right, let's start setting, shall we? Set altitude 2,000.
2,000 feet.
Just throttle slightly. Just bring back on the speed. Don't go too fast on the way down. Should be alright for now.
We have begun our final descent to Glasgow. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to select any craft one final time. Ensure 3 tables are stowed and ensure the full upright seat. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat blanket.
Mouse control in Microsoft Flight Sim has never quite been the same since the release of those fancy new control methods that I'm actually not a fan of. I know a lot of people aren't either. It's easy for console, but no, definitely for PC. Switch to Legacy if you get an opportunity to do so. Legacy's far nicer. Continuing our descent, passing through 8,500. 2,000 shortly. I'm going to increase our descent rate slightly actually, just to get this airplane down a bit lower. So with about 800 feet per minute. throttle back. So about 10 minutes or so until we get to about 2000, if not less than that. As soon as we hit cloud cover, that's where our visibility is going to be shot for the approach. And so, basing our approach very much on the GPS and compass, so tracked heading and true heading, and certainly not whatever this is telling us, because that is still about 90 degrees off where we actually are. I don't know if there's a way you can reset it, I might have just missed something. The heading is definitely not what we're expecting right now. Anti-ice force active, so there'll be no issue of freezing once we're through the clouds. There are still very much the capabilities of the Islander, let alone the Twin Otter will be flying. Actually quite interesting to see the pattern of the pulsating lights. It's not a steady flash, rather it jumps around, changes every so often. Also not synced, one light is independent of the other. Right, continue focusing of our approach. Very shortly, we'll make a right hand turn. Ourselves on heading towards the runway. It's probably a little bit higher than I'd like to be right now. Certainly not problematic over, that's for sure. We'll continue our descent as it is right now. In a couple of moments, start a right hand turn, yeah, towards the runway. So we'll keep on going straight for a little bit longer. So we announce our position on Unicom. There we go. And also look at the map. The traffic is, yeah, okay, still several miles away. We should be alright to avoid them for the most part. Right. Passing 5,000. Let's turn, shall we? Set heading 190. Set heading 200. Let's go 200, shall we? Why are you not working? Set heading 200.
Setting heading 200.
There we go, that's better. Double check my, I might not be running VoiceAttack with admin rights, that's probably why it's messing up a bit. Okay, I'll be more careful next time. Let's watch back even further. There we go. Yeah, we'll fly virtually directly towards that Foxtrot Delta 2-3 points. Set heading 210.
Setting heading 210.
It'll be a 230 by the time we're established. Well, not established, but essentially flying towards that. Again, 3,700 is the cloud ceiling, so only going to be in the clouds there for about 300, 400, 500 feet. Ground will be visible to us very shortly after that. There we go, just coming to view now. I'll tell it 2000, we'll be well clear of it all. Set heading 230. Set heading 230.
Setting heading 230.
Right, we are now flying, runway heading. Continue our descent down to 2000, and then from there, as soon as that runway is visible to us, we'll be able to take manual control, bring it into land. In the Islander, as part of its operating rulebook, you are not allowed to have the autopilots active when the flaps are lowered, so we will keep the autopilots active until essentially what's going to be our descent down to 2000. We should get Pappy's divided in as well into Glasgow, so a bit more guidance opposed to landing on the beach and hoping for the best where the runway is. We've got a double rainbow. Yeah, double rainbow. In fact, even a triple rainbow, because unless the colours are inverted. Definitely a double rainbow behind us. Tracking our approach, and of course, because it's a rainbow. Fun fact, they're not semicircles, they are full circles rainbows. It also depends on where your... well, it depends where your height is to the ground, how much circle you actually see. But yes, that is a fully accurate rainbow right there. That tree seems very close to where we are right now. Fortunately, we're on the side of a hill, which we're going to essentially disappear very shortly. But you see what I mean by spatial disorientation? You have to be very careful when flying into Glasgow, especially in light aircrafts. We'll level off to 2000, which we're right about now. The hill's going to disappear because it goes back into flat ground. But definitely want to keep an eye out on as we make our approach. So we're no longer descending, we're holding about 2100, which is fine. We'll continue this heading until we make the runway. Visual for which shouldn't be too far away. These rain effects really are splendid. I mean, it's kind of a mix. It's a mix of fog, cloud, heavy rainfall. As a result, it's just creates such a gloomy quagmire of weather that it looks fantastic. It really does look fantastic. Right, so we are now just about into what is essentially the approach path runway 23. We'll make some more adjustments to the right, so set heading 250. Set heading 250.
Setting heading 250.
Must be very confident in what you say, otherwise it does split your message up. Interesting. And again, as soon as we're back onto that line, back to 2-3, and we'll focus out on the windshield. Speed back a tad. Set altitude 1,500.
1,500 feet.
Make sure we're not going down at crazy high rate. 500 is fine. Set altitude 1,500.
1,500.
Resets. Very annoying. Set heading 230.
Setting heading 230.
Right. Good to go. Keeping out for the runway. As soon as that becomes visible to me, we'll switch off the autopilot and bring the aircraft into land. Set heading 240.
Setting heading 240.
Just a little bit off that. We're going to cross over Clyde Bank as well. That's the River Clyde's down there. And somewhere to our left in the distance, you'll be able to, well, you won't really spot it, but out in the distance is going to be then the city of Glasgow itself, kind of in the cover somewhere over there. Great, we've got this open sky and all. It's just a shame it's not close to the airports. Visibility not quite there yet. Set altitude at 1,000.
1,000 feet.
Try and reduce to a kind of a minimum approach speeds. As soon as that runway is visible, because my concern is now that we're over the river, runway's in sight, so autopilot deactivates. That's one, that's two. Completely about the replays. Let's do it, shall we? At the very least, as an islander, we don't particularly need too much runway to get stopping. Especially not the runways in sight. There we go. Another thing I love about these G aircraft as well, stick a side slip in and all of a sudden, you can see how much altitude we lost there. That's not a fast thing. And that 20 knot headwind, and this airspeed, look at it. Finally slower, we bring this airplane to a halt. Gosh. Look at this. Mental. There we go. God, that was a soft landing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Glasgow. The local time is 2:45 p.m. and it's currently about 30 degrees Celsius. You can now use your mobile device. Information needed.
I'll clear the runway. Raise our flaps.
Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bin, as items may have been shifted during the flight. If this is your final
Kill the landing lights, kill the stripes.
if you're making a connection, be sure to check your itinerary to ensure any
And now it's time to clear the runway. And there we have it. That approach, seriously, the speed that final. I'm gonna have to double check the weather again, but I think the winds have picked up more than EGPF. So winds right now 20 knots gusting 30. So actually, when we're doing that kind of 60 knot approaching, we weren't doing much more than 30 for the very short final. And yeah, the wind direction's 250. We're very fortunate of a 2-3 heading runway, just because we could then use that to our benefit, especially the side slip. 20 knots gusting 30, that has updated. This is the hill that we need to be very careful for, get a bit more power in. The inbound flight is still about 10 minutes away, so I don't think we're going to spot them for the most part. And like we did before, stand 1 is dedicated to these small prop aircraft, so we're making our way over to that. Park you up, and then get the passengers into the terminal. It's nice to see them stick a pushback tug on the GA stands. I'll go to 1 Bravo this time. Sorry, stand 1, stand 1 Alpha. Essentially, this is a full-size stand, but split in half for the sake of carrying these small props. Right, bring it forward. And stop. Brake sets. Bring back the feather. Where's the mouse on? There it is. And then cut the engines. Right, welcome to Glasgow. We'll open all the exits so you guys can leave the aircrafts. See what sign off, and then you can just jump out the aircraft as soon as you're ready. We will kill the taxi lights and beacon lights, and that's about it really. This is about the aircrafts, then make our way into the terminal. In my case, I may go into the terminal and prepare myself for the trip back to London in a couple of hours, or hopefully about 1 hour. Depends on what time this flight is. I mean, if we landed 20 minutes early, then I can actually probably make the earlier British Airways connection, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, like I said, that's the most parts of it really, and that was the flights from Barra to Glasgow. So we'll stop recording the replay. We will end the flights on PACX. So LM456, an islander from Barra to Glasgow. 1 hour 2 minute flight time, so only a couple of minutes shorter than the previous one. Planned departure 14:05, departure 14:03. Planned arrival 15:30, 15:06. We landed. We had 5 passengers on board. Well, actually, that's time right now. I'm recording this. 27, so day before I'm actually going out. 5 passengers on board. 96 satisfaction. Landing rate of 68 feet per minute. With a block time of 1 hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, very good flight. That very good flight. Ivan, Lydia, James, Beatrice, and Michelle passengers on board. Right, let's finish track on Volanta. That's looking good. That's looking good. Yeah, a couple of good trips today. Very happy that's come so far. Let's close all the exits. And let us start the replay. Yeah, the big thing for me is to have a look at how much altitude we did drop in that last segment into the airport. Because again, the islander is certainly more than possible without going over the aircraft's capabilities. You can see how slow we are going. A bit of a side slip in that. Idle throttle, the aircraft can drop. Certainly more than expecting on that occasion. There's the river down below. Shows how close the river is to the base of the airport. I was a little concerned as to figure out where it was. There, came into view. Nice small adjustments. And again, this is live speed. I've not slowed it down in any way. This is live speed of what our approach was. 20-30 knot winds slowing us down. It was almost a struggle to actually get the airplane onto the ground. Look at this. This is virtually a VTOL landing. If we got the speed right, we could have VTOL'd it to the ground. This honestly feels like a slow-mo replay, but it's not. This is genuinely what I was dealing with on this very short final. Here we go. Idle and touchdown. Now that was a landing. Yeah, even the nose had to pick up a little bit there. Touch it down, force it down. Let's see what the passengers are looking at. So left hand side, this is the view from their point of view. I mean, just look how slow we are. We're about 40 knots at this point. Minus, we're doing about 10 knots true airspeed. Something like that. Oh my word. Here we go. I think the right gear touched down before the left did, but it's so slow anyway. It proved no real effects for this approach. There you go, short approach in. Runway as it slowly comes into view as well. There's just so little speed involved in this landing. It's another reason why I love the island so much. It's such a sturdy base of an aircraft. There's a reason it's sold really well, and actually is one of the best-selling British aircrafts. It's so sturdy, and even the interior just looks like classic old 1960s interior for a house. Here we go, nice and steady, nice and steady. There's your touchdown. Well, what can you say? That was one of our slowest, one of our most enjoyable approaches I think we've done. A little bit off in terms of the kind of final into the runway, but definitely made up for that landing and touchdown itself. So yeah, that was the return leg from Barra to Glasgow. That was the Britten-Norman Islander taking the place of the Twin Otter that I'm flying with Loganair. In a couple of hours I have a trip back to London. Hopefully I'll have a premiere ready for it to go. But I've done the bulk of the main flight, which is the Barra Glasgow bit, so that's the important one ticked off. And yeah, that is the end of this premiere for now. So if you guys enjoyed it, do leave a like, do subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again in the very near future for some more Microsoft Flight Sim action. Take care of yourselves, have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.